Hey guys, it's the Diesel Queen here. I just got this valve cover gasket with the wiring harness in it shipped from Industrial Injection, and I'm going to be replacing it on my truck because this is a 2005, but I upgraded it to 2006 so I could keep my nice fancy painted valve rocker housing. It's painted all purple, so I upgraded it to a 2006 so I could use my painted one. And the valve cover gasket that I bought for it originally is leaking, so Industrial Injection sent me a new one, and I'm going to be installing that for you guys today. Alright, so hopefully you guys can see this really well. Like I said, we're replacing, this is a valve cover gasket slash wiring injector wiring harness kit from Industrial Injection. This is the valve cover, so it literally is just 2, 4, 6 10mm bolts, and then the injector nuts, so it's super easy. But yeah, we're gonna go through this and then we're gonna go through installing it. So alright, so let's go over some tools that you will need for this. My valve cover obviously is aftermarket, so it is a little bit different. So all I need is a crescent wrench to take my breather piping off, and then an inch-pound torque wrench for the injector nuts, and then a 10mm, and then I have a 10 and an 8mm on this little ratchet thing. And yeah, I can't remember if the nuts are a 7 or an 8mm, but we will get a socket for that for the inch-pound torque wrench. You will also need a normal torque wrench for the valve cover bolts. It is very important to torque this properly, just because, like I said, there is a wiring harness in this, so you do not want to crush this too much with torquing it too high. And then obviously if you don't torque it tight enough, it's going to leak. So torque specs, guys, and I'm going to be getting all those torque specs from the Diesel Laptops Diesel Repair website. So let's get into it. Hopefully you guys can see this good enough. Once I get this valve cover off, I will get you guys a little closer. For now, just going to take the breather piping off. And then unplug the 2 plugs in the wiring harness. Mine are adapter harnesses, obviously, because this is a 2005, but they still pop out pretty easy. The back 2 are the hardest to get to. Alright, got the valve cover off, and now we're going to start on the harness itself. Hope you guys can see that. Not really. Alright, let me get a camera, or a light. Alright, so you guys can see that a little bit better now. I do film by myself most of the time, so please bear with me. So the next thing we're going to do is, oh, I should probably close my phone. The next thing we're going to do is take off the injector harness nuts. So I have this little tool right here, and I'm going to need a socket. Alright, so you got an 8mm and a little ratchet. Make sure you have this set to off. It is very easy to over torque these, and if you over torque these, you're liable to break off the stud on the top of the injector, which is really expensive. I mean, I guess if you break it off, you can just call Industrial Injection and get another injector, but we're going to try to avoid that. So these nuts, you do not have to worry about them falling into the engine because they are crimped onto the wiring harness, which I will show you in a minute. But basically, there's 2 per injector. There's 6 injectors. So. The old harness, and as you can see, these little things are the nuts, and see how they're crimped on. So unless you have one that is really old or really damaged, those are usually crimped on there pretty good. I had someone on one of my videos about tightening these down, and I said I had a loose one that I forgot to tighten when I originally put this engine in. Bitch and complain that, oh my god, I'm so lucky that I didn't drop a nut down the engine. Well, you can't, because they're crimped onto the wiring harness. Out with that junk. Now we got this. So obviously these plugs face up, and then these tabs right here lock onto your rocker housing. I'm gonna clean the oil off of this real fast to install this. So these plugs go to the driver's side. We're just gonna make sure none of your wires are getting caught. It's pretty obvious where your wires go for your injectors. Alright, so to get the injector harness nut torque specs, I am in Diesel Repair app. I already typed in my VIN because it is the same, even though this is a 2005 and the harness is or the valve cover gasket is out of 2006. It's the same torque spec. So Diesel Repair app. Alright, so the specification according to Diesel Laptop's repair manuals is 11 inch-pounds. That's why it's super crucial to torque these though, guys, because they don't torque very high. So you don't want to break it off. So I like to hold the little metal part on the wiring harness just to make sure it doesn't twist too much. That's literally it. Literally. So make sure you don't over tighten these. I really wish Dodge would have just made this engine come forward just a little bit more. I would have been fine with like a longer front end. That's that. Like I said, the wires are like pretty self-explanatory where they go. But if you need extra help, I suggest taking a picture of your old one installed so you can make sure you get the colors in the right places. But the way they have these wires set up on here, it's really easy to tell where they go. Make sure this is seated right. You don't want to mess up the valve cover or anything. Make sure this is seated properly and all the bolts start before you start torquing this down. Alright, so according to the Diesel Laptops repair website and the Diesel, I have the repair app on my phone. The torque spec for the valve cover is 18 foot-pounds. It's always a good idea to start from the middle and go out. So I'm going to set up a torque wrench and we'll torque that spec. Do not do this unless you are very gentle with this. I'm just going to run them in with this. But since he's only torqued to 18 foot-pounds, don't do this unless you're very delicate with it. Obviously, I can't reach the back ones, so. Torque specs are really important, guys. Very important. There are so many problems that you can eliminate by just torquing it to the right specification. Alright, so that is it. I got my valve cover installed, I installed my breathers, I installed the 2 wiring harness plugs, and yeah, we're done.